My name is Casey Child.
And I'm Shannon Child, and we've lived here for just over 2 years.
My favorite part about living in Cedar Hills, I think, is all the kids around for my kids to play with. Because in the evening, there's always something to do for them.
There's a lot to like about Cedar Hills. The trails were really appealing to me before we moved here. I'd run on the trails that go through all the neighborhoods and out of the canyon and through the golf course and the bike trails. But also my kids are really happy here because there's so many young families. There's just a lot to like here. Being like nestled right in the mouth of the canyon, of American Fork Canyon, is really appealing, and walking out our front door and seeing these beautiful mountains and countryside right by us is something to look forward to every day.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot to offer with sports. We have 2 boys that are in 5th and 7th grade, and they love football and basketball and baseball, and Cedar Hills has a lot to offer as far as sports are concerned, and there's plenty of kids to play sports, just even with all the parks that they have to offer here. I believe there's 5 parks in all of Cedar Hills, probably more than that really, but so there's plenty of space for them to run around and ride their bikes, and sort of feel like we live in a little kind of Mayberry here.
My kids like it here because there's a sense of community here. When I first moved up, I noticed how much everybody loved Lone Peak football, and how much everybody loved Lone Peak, and how everyone seems to rally around that. And my kids really took to it. It was nice to have them be a part of something. You know, all the other kids wearing their Lone Peak jerseys, talking about Lone Peak, going to Lone Peak basketball games, football games. So I think the sense of being a part of something a little bit bigger is why they like it. My favorite part of Cedar Hills would have to be the golf course. It's simple, and I know it's a little cliche because I'm a guy or whatever, but I've been coming to this golf course since it opened. We used to have a corporate pass up here before I even lived up here, obviously, and I would come a couple times a week. And now that we live right next to the golf course, it makes it a lot easier for me.
So one of the reasons that we moved here in the first place was we had done a lot of research and looked into the school system here, and saw that Cedar Ridge Elementary and also Deerfield were a couple of the top-rated schools, along with the junior high and high schools that were close by. So that sort of solidified our decision to move here just over 2 years ago, and we've been thrilled and happy, and so have our kids.
Mm-hmm. I would recommend moving to Cedar Hills. It reminds me of Orem when I was a kid. A lot of small families, young families, and always activity in the neighborhood.
I would recommend Cedar Hills because of all the families, and it was a lot like the way I grew up, and enjoying, the kids get to enjoy each other, and there's plenty of families, and it's just a great community. There's so much that it has to offer, and the people sort of make it that way.